Yeah, boys. Hope you got your bangers and mash ready. Try and make a compact guide. It's not really scripted, so it could be like dog shit or funny, but let's see. So this is for rangers. And tours, this is hopefully for the more casual lot. To help you lot get into it. But first of all, we'll go with the gear. It's just full berserker with scholar. I'd recommend in CM. You just want to change your accessory and your headpiece. So since we have an extra 15% more crit, and basically this will get you 100%, and then the rest of the dungeons you just want to run full berserker. Just keep in mind you always want to stand behind them for that crit. But yeah, and then you also want to have if you really get into it, you want to have a precast set. I have water, runes. This is just for longer night basically. This is for your party and hopefully they can blast within it, or even for certain case scenarios like COE when you want to give swiftness to or give swiftness to NPCs. It's longer, especially with your heal. So do remember that, and giving it to allies always helps them out. Don't want them being slow. That should be it for the gear for the most part. Just remember I have legendary axes here. This is so I can easily swap in and out sigils, since I want them back and I don't want to keep paying for them with pink ones. But hey, it's up to you what you want to do. If you don't have a legendary axe, it's fine. Just run force and impact. I always run impact on the secondary one, and I always change the first one. It's easy enough for that. I don't swap second hand. My second hands are always with ascended, so I can swap around. Great sword you'll need for some encounters, or you might want longbow for precast. One with night and one with day, and you also have great sword free for good mobility. So do remember that. But yeah, you can pretty much run what you want, but I'd suggest if you just want to run double legendary and you don't want to swap stuff around, I'd suggest longbow for the most part. It's nice to have that precast. But yeah, I'll get into precast soon enough. For utility, it's pretty simple now. We've been changed. We used to run Frost Spirit, but kind of garbage now. I just most of the time just run Signet and Trap. It's not really many other good uses. Sickham's just standard. You can swap over heal, but I always suggest we heal as one, because especially in times when you want more boons, or your party's given boons but they haven't got a good enough set and stuff's not dying fast, and you give yourself when you have boons and you use this, we heal as one, it extends your duration and can double the might, so it can help with the precast on yourself. You're pretty greedy as a Soulbeast because you're just a DPS basically. But yeah, utility is pretty boring. Not much to swap. You can try other stuff, but yeah, it's pretty boring sadly. So for the traits, I run this setup at the moment. This is basic for everywhere. The only traits you want to swap in this is basically you want to go oppressive superiority when your one wolf pack is down on cooldown. Which yeah, bearing in mind one wolf pack is your big utility cooldown, so only use that on bigger bosses. I'll go over that in rotation though. For TA end boss and SE cart, you don't crit them, so I'd suggest going with marksman. This gives you more DPS basically for the cart. But yeah, again for utility here, since you can't crit, you don't need the ferocity. I'd go double trap here, just a little bit more DPS. I'm not sure what the best trap is yet, but I'm using flame trap. That's it for utility. Trait line. yeah, just remember the only thing you have to care about is oppressive superiority. When one wolf pack is on cooldown, you want to use this. Apart from that, it's only 10% when they're at low HP, so hey, it's not the end of the world. So this is for rotation now. It's more of a priority list at this point, since we are running double axe instead of sword. And this is definitely going to depend on your group. In my group, everything dies really fast, so I can't get a big rotation off. But you basically, priority list I'll go with is one wolf pack and Sikkim. You can precast frost trap if you can, but I'd always go one wolf pack, Sikkim, trap, and then you can worldly impact and one in defense. If you learn bosses enough, you can kind of precast this stuff, and then you hit on the worldly impact. As it comes activated, then you can just hit X5 straight away. It's just more DPS for you. If the boss lasts longer, it has more HP, or your group is slower and they don't have as much DPS, I'd one wolf pack, Sikkim, trap, worldly impact, and then you can rotate through 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically, it's that simple. This will depend on like every boss though, because some bosses might die faster than others or live longer, so you might be able to, instead of well in defense straight up on a fast boss, you might be able to get an axe 4 and then well in defense. But from the axe kind of side of things, if for dungeons, this is well in defense is basically your bread and butter for DPS. And if something lasts longer than this hold rotation, just always switch to your other hand, and just you can follow the red rotation basically. Most thing dies in dungeons fast enough, but if you're pugging, you know what can you do? You're pugging. Same for underwater. I would one wolf pack. It's basically the same. You always want a one wolf pack first, so everything can trigger. Unless if you can precast frost trap, which is always nice. Because you want more DPS out of one wolf pack. But yeah, for underwater it's just feeding frenzy to mercy shots at 3, 4. Then you switch over to your spear, and you can hit number 5, 2, 3, and then 5 again. And then use auto attack and just go back to fusion frenzy and mercy shot. It's quite nice and simple for that. For pets, you have a few choices. Recently I like the gazelle. Since I'm running axe instead of sword, I like the extra mobility it gives from charge. Just be aware when you're using that though, when you're stealth it can hit enemies and reveal you, so you want to use it when there's nothing you can't hit. It's also nice, kicks nice and fast and does good DPS, and charge gives good CC. You can go mower though if you, this is like the most optimized I suppose, but I'm not a fan of mower right now since I'm running axe. Gazelle just feels way better. Alternatively, you can go the Phoenix. I wouldn't recommend this the most, since it has okay DPS, I suppose. It's close to the Gazelle. You don't get the mobility from it, but you do get CC from Wing Buffet. But it does put your worldly impact on that like short 1 second CD, so you might precast this to help your NG or your teammates CC, but then you can't worldly impact, so you kind of stand there like an idiot. But yeah, this is like another option. It's not terrible DPS, but it's your choice. You can also stealth with Smoke Scale for your team when you're unformed. If you hit your keybind for Smoke Cloud, you can stealth inside. Yeah, again, it's up to you. I think at the moment I'm really enjoying Gazelle for my setup. But yeah, the mobility is really nice. Just remember when you are stealthed, just be careful for that. Cool. Yeah, precast stuff, it is going to depend on your boss and your group again, sadly. But I always precast barrage for longbow 5 is your bread and butter. If you don't have enough time to do this, you basically want to use Warhorn 4. Warhorn 4 is fast, it's good DPS, and you can cast it while moving. So when you're running to a boss, you can just cast it quickly. If there's a boss dying fast, and you'll run into it, you can precast that. Yeah, it's pretty simple for precast. It's quite nice. There's nothing like Guardian level. It's just nice and simple. The one thing, if you want to be better than other Soulbeast, is hitting your worldly impact, so you don't have the full cast. Just before I activate, you can hit it as you hit. This just saves a bit of time, because some bosses die really fast, and that means you can get into Axe 5 faster. Just means more DPS, so you can show off. But yeah, that's something you learn over time, basically. So for mobility, there's a few things you have. Since I'm running double legendary, I don't want to swap these because I'm going to lose them. So yeah, this is why I always have an ascendant secondary, so I can switch over for precast. And so you have Greatsword 3, Gazelle, charge. That's it for like weapons mainly. Toy axe is just really nice to use for dungeons for the corpse toss. See, one thing I done there, which I want to show you guys, as ranger. Unfortunately, if you don't want this to happen because you want your beast mode form, you want to use like a tonic that transforms you. This means when you do go for your charge, you don't come out of that form. Boring for fashion wars, but hey, what can you do? Like, you look good on the DPS meter. That's your job. For mobility, that's it. You can, if you want to speed up really fast, you can give yourself super speed, quickening Zephyr, or if you have Untamed unlocked, you can use its heal for more, or your elite skill. But you shouldn't need that. It should be fine. Pugs or good group, in a good group you'll have your NG giving you super speed, and in a bad group you'll be chill and it'll be pug, so they probably won't even be using that. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. The main topic is one wolf pack. Now we've gone down to a 60-second cooldown. Funny enough, I think we're in a really good state still. Now we have more uses in fast groups, especially. You're going to get way more one wolf pack uses, which is actually really good. You've lost a bit of DPS, but it can make up with it. And obviously we gained a little DPS buff, especially with Split Blade. Yeah, you want to try and, I think in most casual groups you'll get pretty much every boss use out of this. You can also use it on bosses that can't be critted, so TA or end boss in SE. One wolf pack is actually really good though, especially on the double DPS spot for TA and boss. But yeah, there's a rule of thumb, just to always think ahead of the next boss. So sometimes you might not have it for both, like you might not have it for the next boss, and it's more of a more important boss. For example, in Honor of the Wave P1, when you go kill the first boss, and straight after you have Aldous, you don't want to use it on the werewolf, not the werewolf guy, the troll. You want to save it for the boss afterwards because you might not be ready for it. These are just things you want to think about. You gain it from more experience, especially helps if you're in the same group or a group that does similar stuff. But yeah, you always have to be quite close to each other. Precasting it, since we got a short cooldown now, and it lasts less on allies, it's kind of annoying because if you want to precast it so you can get more abilities off, it doesn't work too well now because you want to maximize the use. So I would be careful about precast now. Try and get it like spot on if you are going to go precast it. If not, just wait until it's activated, and you'll be fine. That's pretty much it. It's like really compact, small guide, just to help you guys. If you want more, maybe I'll update it or make it better. If not, you'll probably get it in about a year. Alright boys, good luck.